Hey guys, it's Whiffy here at Blue Unicorn Gaming with another State of the Game for Torchlight 3. Week 10, and we got some new changes. Now, you'll notice I did not do a State of the Game for Week 9. Week 9 did not really require State of the Game to be done. It was just kind of a producer's note about, hey, we have the update out that came out last week for the Relic System. So I didn't feel that'd be worth your time as a viewer and listener and my time as a creator to create a video that really had no information in it. I feel that you guys would have just shut the video off. Reading through the state of the game for week 9, I didn't get anything out of it. It wasn't worth it. If you read the patch notes or even browsed the patch notes for a moment for the Relic System, you would have understood exactly what they said. But week 10, however, our current state of the game, that actually does have some good information in it. And I think that it's very valuable to look at. Some of the requests were answered. That makes me very happy personally because there's a couple major things that I felt were wrong, such as the weapon system that I had talked about in my Relic System update that you can see right up here in this corner if you're interested. With that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the state of the game week 10 and see what's new. So State of the Game Week 10 came out yesterday, August 20th of 2020. That'd be a Thursday. I have not gone too deeply into this myself, so I'll be reading this a lot for the first time with you all. And as normal, whenever I'm reading these State of the Games, I'll be going back and highlighting and speaking about certain aspects that I feel we should really touch on as a community and we should really consider looking into further or petitioning the developers to change and or fix. So this state of the game is in a different format. As you can see here, this is more of a question and answer format. This is not like the others. So instead of me reading the entire state of the game as I used to do, when it's more of a patch notes style letter from the producer, I'm going to just go through the questions here and we're going to talk a little bit about this. Why didn't you add more skill points to Relic subclass update to let us use more skills or increase their power? So this is something that a lot of players in game that I've spoken with have really complained about. Now that the new Relic subsystem uses your actual skill points that you get as you level, players felt as if they were weaker. They couldn't hit a strong enough point on their characters, and it really made you pick and choose more than you should. The level of player urgency should make you specialize on one area and be able to dabble a little in the rest. Well, with the way this currently worked, you couldn't specialize in dabble. You were stuck. You did one full branch and you were done. You couldn't go anywhere else. You couldn't really put points in your Relic system or one of your other skill trees. You were more or less defined by those points. You can see here that in an upcoming update, they're going to increase the total skill points to 70. An additional skill point will be awarded every 5 levels until level 50. This is great. So, levels 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on will receive 2 skill points instead of 1. Now we get the chance to diversify our characters a little bit, and this really falls to the player agency that I myself and many other players that I've spoken with have felt needed to be brought to attention. Why does everything feel harder now? Now there's a lot here, so let's just go ahead and read into it. Adding more health to monsters at higher difficulty levels is necessary to push players to optimize damage dealing. But we went overboard last time. We did not get enough dedicated testing. Too much health leads to combat being a slog, which we don't want. We hope that these new values maintain the challenge we intend at each difficulty level without making damage dealing tiresome. Smoothed out somewhat jarring increase in monster health between levels 5 to 9. If you've played levels 5 to 9, you feel like you were just hitting the targets constantly and them not taking damage. That's how much health they had. It was insane. Lowered monster hit points on painful difficulty at lower levels, starting at 83.33% of normal difficulty, gradually approaching 100% of hit points at level 20, then increasing to 156.50% of normal difficulty at level 60, which is 73% of what it was in the previous release. So it's a significant amount lower. I don't understand what they were thinking by going that freaking high on that difficulty. Now, I do understand I'm ridiculous, which is the difficulty I play on is the highest difficulty. having some pretty high HP, but man, it's rough. Lowered monster hit points on ridiculous difficulty at lower levels, starting at 59% of normal difficulty, gradually approaching 100% of hit points at level 20, then increasing to 203.50 of normal. Holy crap, that's 66% difference. Man, these guys had almost 400% in ridiculous difficulty as of right now, which is, I don't know if you guys have played on ridiculous, but that you just sit there and you kind of just hit monsters all day and you don't get any additional damage output, nothing like that. There's no additional XP. So playing on ridiculous is kind of useless in my opinion. Hopefully that's something they changed. That is something I do want to see changed, is an XP boost. I know you get more gold and more potion luck, but I'd like to see an XP boost or a gear boost or a gear drop chance boost in a ridiculous difficulty, just because it is much harder. Let's see. Lowered player damage output versus regular monster, reduction to 80% on hard, 60 on painful, and 45 on ridiculous. Player damage versus champions, 60 to 80 on hard, 40 to 60 on painful, ridiculous 30 to 45. Wow. Yeah, so I was dealing a lot less damage on ridiculous. Versus bosses, hard 60 to 80, same as above. Painful, same as above. Ridiculous 25 to 35. Makes sense. So this is one that really touches my heart personally, because this is a very big complaint that I had with the way the relics were done, and now that is no longer the case. And I know a lot of people in the community echoed my resentment for this style of the system. Why did you make relic skills have passives that relate to specific weapons? This feels too limiting. 100% true. 100% true. You cannot have this on your character. Period. End of story. I'm forced to then go with the ice relic as a ranged person, just so I can have the bonus to my damage. It's insane. These skills were very controversial. We are changing relic skills that are associated with weapon passives so they don't lean into a specific weapon. They will now focus on basic attack. Wonderful. That's perfect. That's what they should have done. Flaming Destroyer's Giant Swing now grants a chance on basic hit to trigger a powerful flame shockwave. Electrode now grants a chance on basic hit to quickly call down 3 lightning strikes. Blood Drinker now grants a chance on basic hit to deal Deathblade, a small version of Dance of Death for 6 seconds. Bane Staffing Up now grants a chance on basic to summon an enchanted staff for 20 seconds. Cold Heart's Boars now grants a chance on basic hit to fire a trio of icicles in a tiny cluster. Awesome. So I actually went with Bane, the poison and summoning relic, because I use staves on my Railmaster. So this is actually going to be very helpful because I actually have it maxed out. But I'm going to be very interested to see how this is going to play out, because this is a lot of summoning and there's a lot of power that can be given to your minions. And I can't wait to apply that power and really just see how much damage I now do. The broken nameplates, we're going to change the behavior so that all will bring up environmental objects in addition to making improvements. The environmental object shaders to help improve visibility. Completely understandable. The shaders definitely need updated there. It's hard to really see stuff beyond a wall. I'm really supporting this change. Not a big game breaking change for me, but I love that they're taking a look at it and changing this issue. Why did you move enchanting, and why am I still getting all these recipes I can't use yet? Received a bunch of feedback regarding enchanting and how it is less used and useful early game than when you're working towards getting deeper in Phasir's dungeon. While we aren't moving enchanting back to the early game, we are making updates to make it less confusing. Because of this, the Legendarium will now unlock abilities without needing to disenchant, so the enchanting table can actually move to endgame. This is an upcoming change. When you obtain a legendary for the first time, you'll be able to receive it as its legendary effects. Why won't you let me use my first skill point? We are considering a change to allow players to select their first skill point. We recognize that some players have a preference for which type of class they would like to create, and since respeccing your character comes far from your first skill point, we recognize the work it takes to feel like your build is being created the way you want it to be. We're considering ways to remove the friction for those who want to dive into their intended classes earlier. Be interested to see how that plays out. I'm really going to be interested in this, because I'm not 100% sure what they want to do here, but I'm interested to see how this comes about. What are map scrolls even for? Why were they moved to contracts? Map scrolls are map scroll dungeons. Map scroll dungeons are intended to be a fun diversion from the story path of the game, or something that you use to grind out XP and collect gear if you get behind at a higher level. We found that if players ran the map scroll dungeons as soon as they got them, they were low enough level that the XP and gear could boost them, so they would be over-leveled for subsequent dungeons in the story. By giving you fewer of these and shifting them to later in your progression, we're hoping that tackling a dungeon or two won't ruin your normal sense of progression. Contracts now reward individual map scrolls instead of bundles of 3. I kind of get that, though, because you could stack the later game ones for the other resist for a long time and just have them sit back. Shifted some of the map scrolls and contracts around so they don't drop the first 20 or so contract levels. Understandable. Makes sense. Reduce the number of map scrolls rewards in the once through action of the adventurer's contract from 5 to 3. Reduce the number of map scrolls in the looping section of the adventurer's contract from 2 to 1. I get it. People were farming. Hell, that's how I leveled. So, I don't blame them. It's kind of exploity. Why does movement skill feel so clunky? Movement skills have not received the love and care they have needed. Beyond bugs, the other things we can do to improve. Looks like they're just going to be fixing movement skill. And then they go and talk about a lot of bugs they have, how to report a bug, the upcoming fixes, and their open issues down below. So all in all, this is a fairly good letter. This is a fairly good state of the game. It's really addressed a lot of the issues that are within the game right now. I myself am very happy with the state of the game. I feel like developers are starting to get more of a pulse for what the community wants and needs and is requesting of them, which is a very, very big aspect to making this game great going forward and great long term. I'll be very interested to see how they make certain changes in here and how this game progresses as we start to inch closer to 1.0 release. Now, I do want to say this game is going to have one additional wipe prior to going out of early access and into full production. When this game becomes a full production release, there will be a character and account wipe, and all progress that you have made will be wiped away. If you are an early access player, you will receive your items that are given to you that they promise you as part of the early access once we go live. However, anything you do right now will be removed once the 1.0 release comes out. At this point in time, I'm unaware of the release date that they have set for this game. I don't believe they have actually announced one that I have found. However, I could very well be wrong. All in all, I'm very happy with the direction of the game. I'm very happy that developers have taken the feedback about the Relic System and removed the weapon requirement. That was a massive failure on their part when assessing how players play and switch weapons as they grind. I know for me personally, I have lost the ability to use decent items, such as different rail hammers, because I have a staff that was getting additional damage output. And even though the staff is a lower level, it's more helpful because it will also apply poison. And if I switch up to a sword or rail hammer, I won't get those bonuses. But now I will. Now I can switch my weapon as I'm leveling until I get to endgame and settle on a staff or a hammer or sword or what have you, which makes my playing feel more unique and makes my character build feel more unique to me. Now, I hope you guys like this video, and I hope you enjoy Torchlight 3. I plan on making more content like this, and as the game progresses, I'll be talking more about guides for each and every class and each and every relic, and how to best build your character in the current meta or current game mechanics, so you can build the strongest character you can for your endgame content. Maybe even party up with other people and really tackle some great bosses as the game progresses. I love creating this content for you for Torchlight 3, and if you like the content I'm giving you, please hit the subscribe button and the like button. It helps me understand what you like about this game and also helps the algorithm for me to be discovered by other Torchlight players. Feel free to leave a comment down below as well if you have any questions about the game or any comments about the game or changes they have made recently. I'd be more than happy to try and answer them for you to the best of my ability. With that being said, this is Awifia at Blue Unicorn Gaming. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. And as always, keep on gaming, stay safe out there.